everything that I did in high school. Hey guys, it's Brian and welcome back to Becoming Brian D. And so in today's video, I'm actually going to start talking about everything that I did in high school that landed me with all the different admissions and scholarship offers that you saw in my decision reactions video. So I actually made a list of everything that I did in high school, and it's actually right here on my laptop, and we're just gonna work our way through this, and I'll just like give little descriptions of some things that I've done, just so you guys can get a better glimpse of like what I did to, you know, eventually get into all of these schools. So freshman year, I ran for class president, and I won that election. And so to do that, I had to campaign against my opponent, and I had to make like a campaign video. I had to go around talking to people, going to different classrooms and kind of just telling them like, oh, why they should vote for me. I forget what my platform was, but you know, it worked out. And so with that, we had to do a lot of stuff. The first thing we had to do was get ready for homecoming. And so with that, we had to make a parade float of a class banner, all within a theme that went under the whole movie theme of the homecoming dance. And so that in of itself, I don't even know what I was doing most of the time, but I remember we just had to figure out how to get a flatbed and then get some props on that flatbed, people with costumes on the flatbed. That's for the parade float. And then I think I might have a clip of like the parade float. And then the class banner, we had to like, you know, make that happen somehow. And I just remember doing that. It got me really hooked into student council because I loved kind of like first being able to organize everything, but also getting the hands-on of actually working on the things that you plan. And I think it was a great creative outlet for me in a sense, because I could come up with an idea and literally just try to make that idea happen. And so I kind of like got better at it as time went on, but freshman year was definitely like a big time for that. I was also part of Model United Nations, and I ran for the Director of Internal Affairs at that time. And in that position, I just did a lot of like stuff on the side of paperwork for the club, I guess. I just remember once I just had to update the bylaws. It was like the first year that the club was revamped, and so I don't really remember what I was doing, but that was definitely something I spent my time doing. I was in National Math Honor Society, and so with that, we had to just get tutoring hours for tutoring people in math. I remember I volunteered for the mock trial club for a little bit, and so I just acted as one of their witnesses, and so I had to kind of like learn this skit and perform, I guess, at the mock trial. And so that was pretty cool though, but that was the only time that I did that. I was in Key Club, so that was also just volunteering. I don't really know what I was doing. I was kind of just mindlessly doing anything. I was a part of this nonprofit that my mom is a part of as well. It's called Sisters Building Sisters, and I was kind of a student ambassador, and what I did in that role is I would help, I just helped them however I could, just like to bring like a youthful perspective. And so for one of their events, they needed someone to like do like some videographying, and so that's like the first time that I actually, you know, used the camera. Don't know where the footage is, but you know, I was just trying to figure it out and see what would look good. And so that's something that I did freshman year. And then I was also a part of indoor and outdoor track, and freshman year was the first time I qualified for freshman nationals in triple jump. But at that point, I was doing triple jump, long jump, and pole vault, and those were my like 3 events that I was doing on the track team. And so moving on to our freshman summer, that summer I actually got my first internship, which was a cloud computing internship at a company called BlackSpoke. And so I was just doing different training stuff to learn Amazon Web Services, and essentially I was just taking like a course to prepare for the Solutions Architect training exam, and that's essentially what like the internship ended up being. But like other than that, you know, not much really happened. And so then sophomore year, SCA again, I ran for sophomore class president. This time I was actually unopposed, and so we just got to hit the ground running. I was already started planning for the next year after elections happened, and this time I think we definitely did a lot better. I forget what our theme was, but you know, we'll get that somehow. And we made the parade float, the banner, and I feel like it was just a really good experience. We had 2 pep rallies that year, and we had these things called Sophomore Sundays where we would like do little weekly updates on what the SCA has done and what other clubs in the school have done. And so it was a really good time. So anyways, moving on. That year in general was just like sophomore year was one of my favorite years because I met a few of my best friends, and so we used to hang out every single day. But that's besides the point. I was also in Key Club again. I do not think I actually like got the hours like this year. Like I was working towards it, but then like I didn't towards the end. For Model UN, I like stepped down, sort of. Well, no, actually no, I was beat out. But then I kind of was like, oh, there was one position that no one took, which was director of social media, and look where we are today. But so I took that position, and that's what I did sophomore year. And so I would just work on like the Instagram for the club and kind of just working on their image to the people and like trying to keep people updated. I was in Scholastic Bowl for the first time, and that was essentially quiz bowl. Like it was fun. I was there when I could be. When I wasn't, you know, it wasn't like a big commitment for me personally because I had other stuff, but I was doing it because my friends were doing it, and I wanted to help out because sometimes I needed people, so I was there. And then that year actually I started working on this app that I had, or my friend had an idea for like our student council. We wanted to make this application that could just kind of help us virtualize everything. And mind you, this was the year that COVID happened, and so like the lockdown started happening in March, which was like towards the end of the sophomore year, but like, you know, everything was kind of changing at that point. But so my friend and I, or through two friends and I, well, they had the idea and then I kind of just joined them. But I was helping them out with this idea that they had. And with that, I got to learn Android Studio, try to like develop an app. It was actually a really cool experience. Like that started at the end of my sophomore year, and but I'll get more onto that later. I started social media freelancing a little bit during that time period, and so essentially like after, you know, becoming the director of social media, I was obviously a genius, and so I just like tried to like help out like my uncle with some of his things, and like my mom with the nonprofit. I was just trying to make different flyers for them, and so I made them, but I had to do those in French, which was also pretty cool. Actually, they're on my LinkedIn if you follow me or whatever. But and so I just made like little flyers for them, just trying to help with like, you know, trying to figure out what like the social media thing is. But then I kind of stopped doing that like once COVID happened, so that was very short-lived. The last thing here is just I did indoor and outdoor track again, and I qualified for indoor nationals this year, and then outdoor nationals was canceled. No, outdoor season was canceled, period, actually. Indoor nationals was also canceled. It was canceled 2 days before it was supposed to happen, and so I remember I was like burnt out because at that point I was like doing all this stuff, hanging out with my friends almost every single day, and like my homework I was just like you know. And so like I was in the track, I was very tired, and I was just on the verge of like burnout. Like I was really about to like end everything like school-wise. No, not really, let's not say that. I was at my limits, right? And then I remember I actually went to ask my coach I told him I needed a break. Like I can't take this anymore. Like I'm just so like exhausted. And then the day after I did that, they canceled school for a month. And I was like, oh, great. I had to go through that for no reason. But then they canceled school for the rest of the year, and it was all online. And that was just in a time in and of itself. Then, so like sophomore summer started early, and what I started doing during that time, actually, I started learning about how to trade like stocks and options. So I remember like I was trading options like regularly for like a few months during that time period. And I remember I had like $300, and like I grew it to 1,000. And then like my mom took that account, and then I did it again with another account. And I definitely think it's because the market, like after it went down, it just kept going up, and I just kept profiting off of it going up. But you know, I don't know where the money is now. I started this other organization called Culturally Aware and Responsive Students, and so this was in response to all the Black Lives Matter stuff, for lack of better words, that was going on. Like it was a lot when you really think about how everything happened and the timing. But when all that started taking place, I was realizing, you know, instead of like just being mad, I should probably think of a way that I can respond to this and kind of make something good out of it, just a positive way to respond to, you know, negative things happening. And so with that organization, my friend Alina and I, we thought of the idea together. I remember we just had like a random conversation. We're like, let's do something about it. And we were just trying to figure out, okay, like first, let's just get people together and kind of, you know, figure out what the problem is and how we can change it, at least at our school specifically. And I remember at our first meeting, we just had people talk, and so I shared an experience that I had regarding racism in my community, and it was like, or like within my school, and then some other people shared their experiences, and I remember we just got really close after that because everyone was just like really open and like truthful with each other, and it was just like, it was sad to see that like, you know, all of us were going through similar things, but no one really ever talked about it. But it was nice that we, you know, actually were able to make that space happen for each other. And so then after that, we just started thinking, okay, how can we fix this? Like, you know what, there's some things that our school is missing. We don't have like a response plan for like what teachers should do when they're faced with students reporting instances of hate. We were thinking, okay, like the things that we're learning in school, they're all very they're very Eurocentric and very shifted towards the Western world. And so there's other demographics that we don't learn in different contexts if they don't fit with American history. And so we were like, okay, let's try to change that. And so we did a bunch of different research on teaching strategies. One that Alina found was